I don't know, number 74. Welcome back. Today, we'll be looking at the Gospel of Mark to discover the attitude we should have as we advance God's kingdom. So let's dive in. Mark 4 verses 26 to 29. Jesus also said, "The kingdom of God is like a man who scatters seed on the ground. Night and day he sleeps and wakes, and the seed sprouts and grows, though he knows not how. All by itself the earth produces a crop, first the stalk, then the head, then grain that ripens within. And as soon as the grain is ripe, he swings the sickle, because the harvest has come." My thoughts. Jesus continues to teach his disciples about the kingdom of God. He says it's like a farmer planting seeds in his field. It's a pretty normal view of agricultural activities except for one aspect. The farmer has no clue how his crop is growing. It's a mystery to him how a few little seeds can mature into healthy plants and bear fruit. Now today, with all our advances in science and technology, we think we know so much more than a simple Judean farmer in the 1st century AD or a 30-year-old Jewish rabbi who was a carpenter. And we absolutely do know more today than that farmer, but probably not the Jewish carpenter who was omniscient. If you do a Google search, "Have we solved all the mysteries of how plants grow?" you'll get 100 links to mysteries we have solved with modern technology and knowledge over the past few years. But that only proves the parable's point: the farmer, past or present, is still learning and he doesn't really know how it grows, not completely anyways. There's still a lot of mystery. Listen to Sujata Gupta, author of an article entitled "Scientists Should Report Results with Intellectual Humility," and describes a problem with scientific findings that undermines our assumption that we know it all. Because scientists' careers often hinge on publishing research papers in top-tier journals, Hoekstra says, they can feel pressure to exaggerate their findings. Scientists might hype the novelty of a study, tinker with statistics to obscure uncertainties in the data, gloss over failed experiments, or imply that theoretical results are closer to real-life application than they actually are. Problematically, Hoekstra says, the publication process rewards this behavior. Journal editors and paper reviewers who greenlight studies tend to prioritize clear narratives over more nuanced ones. Now we know honest mistakes are made by even the smartest people. But what she is referring to is when people intentionally stretch the truth to make things look better than they actually are. In this case, it's the scientist looking smarter than they are. Before we start dogpiling on scientists, we need to admit that the same integrity problems exist in every field of work and study. I've known theologians and disciple makers who do the same thing. And this brings me to my point: we need to acknowledge that we don't know as much as we think we do about kingdom growth. In other words, with all our theological knowledge, all our methods and traditions, all our tactics and strategies, it's still a mystery and all the credit goes to God. Listen to how the Apostle Paul echoes the truths of Jesus' assessment of the farmer. "I planted, Apollos watered, but God was causing the growth. So then neither the one who plants nor the one who waters is anything, but God who causes the growth." 1 Corinthians 3 verses 6 to 7. Notice how Paul, even with our human contribution, attributes the growth to God. I think that is the point Jesus is getting at when he says the farmer doesn't know how the crops grow. The kingdom of God grows because it is a work of God, not a result of our intellectual prowess or exceptional skills. We need to stay humble. My story. I love to tell the story about two of my friends who went to India to observe a movement of the gospel. Hundreds of people were coming to Christ every month. They were blown away by the amazing kingdom growth. They asked the missionary, "What tools are working here?" To which he nonchalantly replied, "All of them." My friends responded, No, what methods are you using that are leading to so many people receiving the gospel?" Again he replied, "All of them." My friends were dumbfounded, and to be honest, so was I. We had to admit that it wasn't necessarily a method of sharing the gospel or a style, it was God who was doing the work through his servants in the ways he chose to do it. This immediately puts the credit for ministry where it belongs. And we have to acknowledge that we don't know as much as we thought we did. As disciple makers, we need to embrace several things. Avoid getting married to our tools. Teach biblical principles as the foundation, not methods. Let those we are discipling adapt their methods to their context and situations. Acknowledge God is really the one doing the work and give him glory. God can use crooked sticks to hit straight licks. Jeff Sundell. Our action plan. What are the tools or methods you enjoy using? Here's some ideas to help you separate the principles from the methods and avoid methodolatry and stay humble. Spend some time in prayer asking God for wisdom in this area. List all your tools and categorize them by the biblical principle they fulfill. Teach those you're discipling the difference between principles and methods. We know a lot and we are learning more every day. But do we know it all? This reminds us to stay humbly dependent on the one who does, and at the end of the day, give him the credit.